Hello, welcome back. No, your turn. It's your turn, sir.
Nope, no, go. I insist.
What are you, Canadian?
I know. I'm British.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
no. Oh, that was a shot at WizKid. I apologize. I apologize. All right, so we are getting into the second match. Free Kspot having the first pick this time around. I expect them to do a couple of pretty straightforward bans, one of which being the Soul. I think that was a very powerful tool in the hands of Risky Behavior. FaymousHate was very safe. He didn't really make a lot of misplays. Didn't have necessarily the biggest impact in the game, but I still think that the dual lane was the actual gateway for a flood for Risky Behavior to just win game outright.
Well, if you have a look at down the lineup, what did they have in their comp that's really OP on this patch? Sol. Number one and foremost, she's really, really strong. OP? Probably not, but I certainly think she's on the higher end of the win rates. Xingqian. Just between those two gods, they had a lot of potency, and then, they had Awilix roaming around in the jungle that could just make plays off the back of Wubbn, and Wubbn just became this playmaking machine. But it's actually going to be Risky Behavior that bans out the Soul, and the reason they're banning out the Soul is that Free Kspot banned out the Hell. The reason that they're doing this is it's like, well, we're leaving...
Zeus! He's probably messing with me, but still, Zeus would be high. Go ahead.
That's true. No, I agree with you. I think Zeus would have been a really, really strong pick. It's just that Free Kspot obviously want the Awilix specifically to pick it away from Risky Behavior, because things like a Sobek, all those playmaking machines are still on the board. Xingqian, I do expect to be picked up very, very early on in this draft as well. Xingqian Zeus is actually a really strong combo.
I think that Zeus Xingqian would be a strong combo. I think that there's still Khepri if you want to go for that pick. Even though, despite Athena's nerfs, I feel like she's still a very strong pick. Just having that consistent taunt over and over again in some of these team fights, it can be such a huge playmaker. But Risky Behavior going to go with the Zeus Sylvanus. Still a very strong two picks starting out this draft. So I think Free Kspot has to respond accordingly and has to find something really aggressive to put Zeus in a bad spot. Sobek would probably...
Sobek? Yeah, and again, I'm returning immediately to Xingqian. But
possibly.
Well, I mean, look at the combos that were in that last match, right? It was Sobek, Xingqian, and Awilix. Awilix is already on the table. They've got 2 more picks. They can... And the other cool thing that you can do with the Sobek Xingqian...
Oh, yes! Yes! I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nope, you know what? It's ruined now. It's ruined now.
I can't. I was too excited. I saw it, my heart skipped a beat, and then he locked it in. Alright, I'm sorry to everybody. I got really excited. Hebo making a return, obviously to try and bump up the potential of Awilix, but still, it's Hebo.
Rip headphone users, that's all I'm going to say. Yeah, and the late game potential's here. Kspot, that's what they want to play for, but Risky Behavior is just like, alright, we'll pick Zeus. We've got Sylvanus. What else do you want in a early game sort of pressure heavy team comp? What do you want, man?
Thor.
Yeah.
What a coincidence, they locked in Thor.
Oh no way, that never happened. Oh, banning Xing... That actually makes me think. This it's very back of my mind, but I'm thinking it might be heading to the solo. It's kind of just saying, alright, what are we going to do? Because it's going to struggle to clear against the Zeus. Zeus is just going to outpressure him so hard in that mid lane, but he can use the wave to go across the combo, so they could play at both spots. I think at the moment they're just basically saying to Risky Behavior, we're just going to play with you, right? We really want to screw with your drafting. We want to see if you can get in your heads just with our first pick and our ban, man. It's just like, yo, you know?
Well, I like Risky Behavior's response is that they, with their pick in the second picking stage, they went ahead and picked up their AD carry because there's not really any kind of mystery with that. So they're basically telling Free Kspot, all right, if you want to even argue throwing Hebo into the solo lane, we still have our solo lane pick. We don't have to do that just yet. So if you do want to throw him in the middle lane, we still have an answer. And I don't think it would really make much of a difference if Free Kspot threw Hebo into the solo or mid lane, Thor is still going to camp him. Like, there's going to be a nice pitched up tent with s'mores and chocolate and a wonderful camp song. Thor is going to camp him because there's no reason not to. I mean, Thor can get easy kills. Hebo has some of the lowest starting health. He just doesn't have a lot of escape mechanics pre-5. I mean, he's just such a susceptible god to ganks. That's why he's just not played very often. However, he's still a very good damage dealer. So if he can survive, if he can stay alive, it's wonderful. But the likelihood is darn near slim to none.
I'm still sort of thinking here that it's like an outside pick now, but Chuck's probably going to score. It's like shenanigans. Do you pull shenanigans? Free Kspot. Look at the draft that they've got up. They really want Hebois to be centered around those mid and back camps and just get as much farm on board as he can. And Chuck's just going to be this central god. He's going to be the silence. He's going to be the counter to Zeus. He's basically just saying, right, I'm going to get the front line. I'm going to stop you from doing everything. I love Xbalanque compositions into Sylvanus and the Zeus. It's just setting everything up. And it makes it so easy for Thor to ult as well. So if they can land their wombo combos, I think beads are going to be a very, very early pickup. And I think tier 2 and tier 3 beads are going to be a very early pickup for free Kspot.
Free Kspot basically is in a situation where if they can get to the late game, they have a lot of burst damage. If they can't get to the late game, they're kind of screwed. That's why I like Risky Behavior's draft so far a little bit better, because Zeus is actually pretty relevant from early game all the way to late
absolutely.
game. Yeah, I mean, it gets really much scarier in the late game, but in the early game, just having the detonate at mid harpies, after the first set is really impactful. You can just look for chain lightnings into terrible combos, and you consider Thor being able to dunk in on a team with Darkest of Nights going on. It's really difficult to actually say, okay, we can just deal with all this damage coming in on us, no problem. So I think Free Kspot has a lot to overcome before they actually are able to say, all right, we've got this game in the bag. But I think that the draft is definitely one of the more interesting ones I've seen today.
Yeah, and importantly as well, they've got multiple targets that they can Geb shield, get them out of trouble, and get them back into the fight and doing superb amounts of damage. The problem that they're going to struggle for, right, is what is Geb known to be weak at? What is Sylvanus known to be strong at? Early lane clear. That's where they're going to really struggle. And that, to me, as well, is why they picked up Chaac. They needed somebody to clear in the solo lane and not be this other lane that they can just freely gank, so they lose pressure all around the map. So Chaac has to not win his lane, but just farm, and become beefy and heavy, so we can just sit in this middle of the team fight, just being, not necessarily doing insane amounts of damage, but, Chaac, which Chaac can do if he goes down that right, but just being there, and just being this big bully up in your face, trying to direct the attention away from his carries, because he's basically just like, we don't want to fight here. Anytime we stall out a fight for another 30 seconds, send everyone back to base again, itemize up, that's a win for us. So keep that in the back of your mind, that's a win. But Ne Zha and Thor,
so
it could be either a Ne Zha or a Thor solo. Normally you'd see Ne Zha, but then again I did see Yada play Thor live at PAX Source. I'm gonna keep coming back to that because he just played some amazing gods.
I mean, we have seen Thor in the solo lane quite successfully, week in and week out. I'm not sure if I can honestly say that it is definitely one way or the other. I mean, CrazyToaster and Skeeledon could end up just switching and everyone be thrown completely off. But based off of who has the gods right now, Skeeledon on Thor, he's the jungler for Risky Behavior. CrazyToaster on Ne Zha, he of course is the solo laner for Risky Behavior. That indicates that is probably going to be the solo laner and jungle respectively. But Ne Zha as the solo laner, it's kind of an interesting idea that's been flirted with a little bit, just because she has such high sustain with her passive. So how do you feel about that, and more so, how do you feel about that matchup against Chaac, who is probably one of the safer and higher sustaining solo laners?
And this is why I actually think it's potentially going to be a Thor heading to the solo lane. It's just because if you max out the hammer, as in the one, he Mjolnir's attunement does do a substantial amount of damage to the waves, poke. It's really kind of got it all. Or you can put just, a standard jungle build, throw a couple levels early into the spin, and spin on the wave and clear it out. You've got a little bit of a flexibility depending upon whether you want to win the lane or whether you want to just farm as heavily as you damn well can. And because Chaac's got no real way without burning his ultimate to stop the Berserker's barrage, I actually really think it's going to be the Thor in the solo lane, and that's why. Yeah, sure, it doesn't have the global pressure that you may be potentially looking for from a Thor in those early portions of the game, but he can do exactly the same as Chaac. Not played so much as an assassin, but just more as a bruisey damage dealer,
I feel like I don't like the idea of throwing Thor into the solo lane simply because he's such an easy mechanic to bully out this Hebo, which you want to do. You don't want to let Hebo just do whatever he wants, because then his water cannon starts turning into basically an ultimate against the entirety of your team. But that being said, flirting with the idea of Najah in the solo lane a little bit more, I think that there is some merit to it. So you look at some invincibility frames on her armillary sash. She can actually avoid a lot of damage from Chaac at different parts of the game just because of those invincibility frames, and possibly even trade better so than Chaac would. Now, That being said, I want to know what she's going to build. Is she going to build like the Hyper Assassin, or is she going to build like some pseudo tanky Najah?
She could even potentially go more of a Bologna build. He could even go more of a Bologna build route and potentially go for a Frostbound Hammer Ichival, just for gluing power, really, really high base scalings, because, look, Ichival works well on 3 targets on free Kspot as well, so it's not like, oh, look, I bought an Ichival, it's totally useless. Well, no, it's actually going to still do a significant amount. I just want to keep this in the back of the mind, and just see where it potentially pans out. Skeeledon's actually on... There you go, Skeeledon's on Thor, so it is going to be the Najah on the solo. So this is actually going to be something that, we haven't seen in the solo lane for a good while, and something to just keep an eye on. I'm actually kind of keen for this solo lane for the first time in a good while.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, but I'm also really looking forward to seeing how much pressure both these mid laners are going to be under, because, we talked a lot about Hebo, but Zeus still has a very low escapability, in fact, 0 escapability. His best maneuver is to just throw down all his damage and say, all right, well, either I kill you or you kill me. And that being said, Awilix is very good at killing you before he kills you, Awilix, so... I think that right now that's going to be the most important aspect of the game.
Dude, look what XenoTronics bought to start the game off too. He's got a purple pot. This is shenanigans right here. So, yeah, look at that. That is a triple elixir up build to start the game.
They mean business, and they're actually all chilling out and well. They're all chilling out and well right now, just like,
because they want more potions.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, look at Mindy! Mindy's got Potion of Magical Might as well. Oh, this mid lane is going to be a bloodbath.
That makes sense. I mean, Mindy has to use the most, as much damage possible just to try and clear the wave, or use.
It's going to be bloodbath.
Yeah.
This is going to be great.
You excited?
Dude, I'm more excited than stabbing a zombie kangaroo on a Sunday afternoon with a cold beer in my hand.
Where did that come from? That's a
Zidane reference. Zidane really loved talking about zombie mutant animals coming to attack me.
Just checking. So, I mean, who do you think is going to win based on team comp while we still have this, brief moment before all the action?
Dude, I'm such a big Hubwa fan. I love Hubwa. That Sydney Shredder skin. Oh, juicy. That's probably not appropriate for this level of stream, but hey, how are you going, Smart Game chat? That was not appropriate. Don't talk to your friends at home about that. Don't tell them Rankonius said it.
Oh, well, I'm gonna go ahead and ride the Zeus hype train as I have for the last couple of weeks. And
Skeeledon! Skeeledon was hanging. He wanted to go solo. He totally wanted to go solo, and now he's going to get caught out, throws the hammer, and just gets the heck out of... Oh! Yeah, I knew there was going to be shenanigans.
CrazyToaster taking a lot of damage, and now, actually, we could see a first blood happen immediately as Skeeledon now chasing, misses the Mjolnir's attunement, and is going to just keep fighting around, misses the last auto attack needed. Chain Lightning, not going to be available just yet. Knock up. damage, damage. Who's got the most damage? Chain lightning used, and everyone's just gonna walk away as Najah has come into the equation. But CrazyToaster actually might get this one. There's the flip. There's CrazyToaster getting the kill. Hebo doesn't have the damage just yet. Slow comes out for the ring toss, but nope, not gonna be able to do anything else.
And you know the other cool thing about that? XenoTronics took left-hand center mid-camp solo. He's level 3. He'd be very deep in a level 3's experience pool. So he's got both sets of mid-camps thus far, so that's a win for Risky Behavior. They've got a kill onto Najah. They've got, yeah, sure, they wiped Thor's Purple Pot, but they've still got Purple Pots active on 2 other people. Not Purple Pot active on Zeus, and Red Pot's active on Najah, but only a Purple Pot for Mindy now. So they've got to be a lot more passive around the mid lane, and Thor can just step
up. In the dual
and
lane, there's going to be a potential kill coming out as FullPenetration getting dangerously low. Xbalanque not able to land the auto attacks needed for that kill. Go ahead, my apologies.
Oh, no way! Are they seriously doing this? They're spotted. Oh, never mind. ElBrochacho is just like, dude, this is my jungle. This is my area to rock.
My area to rock, alright.
I'm sorry.
I mean, XenoTronics and Skeeledon basically just looking for a little bit more gold opportunity. I'm not sure if Awilix... Yeah, she had to just use a blink there just to escape any kind of aggression. I'm not sure if she was paying attention to where everyone was going on the map. She should have spotted them coming out and could have saved that blink for later use. But first blood going to CrazyToaster, or excuse me, not first blood. Second blood going to CrazyToaster, not exactly the best for Risky Behavior just because I'm not seeing any kind of carry potential in the soul lane right now for CrazyToaster. Going up against Chaac, you're not going to find a lot of 1v1 kills, and he's actually having a lot of trouble landing the artillery sash when he finds a little bit of Chaac aggression. So it's becoming a bit difficult for him to avoid the Thunderstrike if he can't do it consistently.
Oh.
Meanwhile, there's going to be a Awilix coming out, and oh, that was a mistake.
Wrecked. That is all I have to say. And on the backside of that, I'm sorry, I have to do this. Why does Geb counter Thor? You're gonna hate this. You're gonna hate this.
I'm not playing this game.
Why does Geb counter Thor? This. Because he's Earth. He's Thor's Earth. Thor is lightning.
Yeah.
Lightning.
Yeah.
Electricity needs an Earth. Yeah.
Yeah. I got it. I got sad, but I got it.
WizKid's on production. WizKid, feel free to pop in and say thank you rank at any time. No. No. Okay. I'm not sure if chat heard of that or not, but anyway. Okay. 4 minutes into the game. Second set of mid camps. So XenoTronics is 3 for 3 on mid camps at this point in time. He's doing really well on this Zeus, man.
I mean, he's getting farmed, he's getting the damage he needs, he's getting the gold he needs, so late game is just going to be great for him. But, you know, really, I think the bigger issue is CrazyToaster in the solo lane getting kind of bullied out a lot. He did get the first kill, he's on an interesting character that has a lot of high sustain, but CrazyToaster not seeming like he's a very practiced solo lane Najah. This might have been just a in theory pick versus a actual, yeah, I can do this pick.
Yeah, he could also just need I feel with Najah, you just need a few items to at least get online first before you can kind of start winning. But CrazyToaster's got other ideas. He's really looking at motion. He's just like, dude, come here, come here. Oh.
And yeah, he has to use the ultimate to try and get out. CrazyToaster actually taking a lot of damage. Oh, well, that actually saved him. Skeeledon coming in with the Anvil of Dawn actually saves him and potentially sets up a kill opportunity. Zeus trying to get there as fast as possible. Not going to be able to do so. Hebo comes in. There's the crushing wave. There's the burst damage and a knockup. Plus, the Thunder Strikes are going to secure a kill on ElBrochacho as Mindy Rocks is desperately low on mana. Can't actually use any abilities. Oh, Awilix comes in and double kill for Wubbn, who is KSing his own teammates. And unfortunately, on the back end, XenoTronics is going to find a Chaac. CrazyToaster ring bouncing for the kill onto Awilix.
Dude, you know how you were saying that CrazyToaster's not going to do all that much this game? Oh, a Millery Sash of Death. Wubbn with the hooks of death. FullPenetration currently with the shots of death. It's just death everywhere. What did I say about aggression in this game? We're 5 minutes in, or just about to tag 6 minutes in, and both teams are just like, right, we want to kill a minute.
Well, I'm really happy to see Free Kspot having a much different performance than we saw last game because they seemed really out of sync last game, and now this time around they're actually making a lot of improvements and changing a lot of things so that they don't have a repeat of last game. And I think that that's going to be very important going into game 3, potentially 4 and 5, assuming that risky behavior doesn't win a 3-0 straight. But
Ooh.
here over in the solo lane, that's going to be
Never mind, mid lane. Yeah, so that was 4 people rotating onto the Zeus, and then in the solo lane, Skeeledon's just like, yo, sup guy with an axe, I've got a hammer, and a guy with a ring.
Over in the dual lane, though, that's going to be a heavy rotation on the FaymousHate, who's just going to use the CC Immune dash mechanic to escape the Geb knockup. And now Gold Fury is looking pretty tempting on the side of Free Kspot. They've got quite a few members there, but they're going to elect to avoid that. Don't feel very confident in that fight. Yeah, don't feel very confident in that fight, nor their damage potential. And Wubbn looking at the mid-harpies that were, or looking at the space where the mid-harpies were, and just clearing that out. But wards strongly in favor of Free Kspot, actually.
Actually, yeah, who has placed the most wards this game? Taking a quick look at the graphs. Copebby's really trying to make sure that he's getting that impact onto the map. 3 wards down from him, 3 wards from ElBrochacho. So wards really lacking this time around from risky behavior. So they've got to play either a little bit more passively with that lack of wards, or they've got to constantly think that there is multiple members there. So they've got to be aware for any sort of counter engage. You can play around the wards just through proper communication and always thinking that your opponents are about to one-up you. But it takes a lot of awareness to do that.
I think that risky behavior is a little bit more concerned with trying to get their items or get their actives out, as now Najah is trying to set up a kill over into the solo lane, and a lot of investment going into that. Chaac might have actually spelled their doom in that team fight, as CrazyToaster, the first person to go. Unfortunately, that's just going to be the end of that for risky behavior. They don't get a kill in return, and in fact, they actually lose one of their own teammates. Very unfortunate turn of events there.
And that was just purely because of the spam R. Look at ElBrochacho's going down on towards Wubbn. He's in a little bit of trouble. Trees apparently don't like water as much as you think they do, and now they're going to turn back around and just eat Skeeledon alive. But look who's shown up to the party. It's time to rain down with the thunder and lightning, and XenoTronics certainly brought it to the table there.
XenoTronics doing a good job of getting that kill, but he came in a little bit too late to make a bigger impact. I feel like if he had gotten there a bit sooner, him plus Thor could have actually secured quite a few kills and maybe even kept the tower. Fortunately, not the story. Tier 1 tower over in the solo lane lost, and Tier 1 tower over in the duo lane not going to last much longer, especially if Xbalanque keeps getting bullied out of lane. But Rama having a pretty significant experience and gold lead over his duo lane opponent.
Ouch. Ouch. And Transcendence compared to... This is probably actually going to be from Rama. This is going to be the Soul Leader build, and then it's probably going to be into Executioner and Hasten Fatalis. Because think about it, he can just run around these fights, kite like crazy, and look at the team comp he's up against. They really just want to jump all over him. I like the build, I like the awareness, and, you know, that's just a smart thing to do. You know, ladies and gents out there in the chat, if you guys ever are into a double assassin team comp like this one is, potentially a Zeus as well, and something like a Xbalanque, you know, all these sorts of things, and you think you're going to have trouble with mobility, you think you're going to have trouble stacking, Soul Leader, Executioner, Hasten Fatalis. Boom, 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 you're good.
Now we're having a grouping over towards the middle lane, as they might actually try to all invest into this Hebo, and yep, that's going to be the call. Beads and Crushing Wave used to escape. Now they turn their attention back over to the Awilix, who is up in the air. Najah doing a lot of damage. That should secure the kill. Skeeledon going to be awarded with it. They give that over to him, trying to get him going, and that's going to be a yoink coming out from Wubbn, who is not going to be able to set his team up for any more damage. They're just going to elect to back off after a pretty decisive kill onto Awilix, setting them up quite nicely into the next couple of minutes if they want to try and maybe make another play and then go for a big objective like this tier 1 tower.
Oh, I love that axe sound from Chaac. It's just so impactful, right? It's like, come here, I want to ask you a question.
Oh man, ask you a question. Oh, I get it, because axe.
Yeah.
Because the axe.
You spell it ACKS as well. That's how you ask questions.
Okay.
And now Right hand mid Harpy camps, ElBrochacho blinks deep. He might be looking for the counter, gets it on two. Look at the combo. XenoTronics still alive, though. Thor on the back side of these things at this point.
Oh!
And Skeeledon with the damage combos. They just turn it. XenoTronics still not dead. That's the problem. You gotta commit. You gotta get the kill.
Yeah, but now Skeeledon is the one who's actually going to be killed off. XenoTronics still alive, and they actually didn't even secure the kill on a Chaac either. So a lot of low health bars escaping just barely. But this is why I like Thor as a character just by himself. He has such comeback potential in a fight. So it started off really bad for XenoTronics. It looked like he was going to get killed off, and there's nothing really to be done for risky behavior. And then all of a sudden, free Kspot got just annihilated. But Zeus might get taken out here. He got caught out over at the red buff. A lot of damage coming out, and Copebby is able to find the kill on the XenoTronics before the red buff was secured, so that red buff is still available for Zeus later.
ElBrochacho is just like, get the heck out of here. Get the heck out of here, son. Copebby trying to buy some time, keeping CrazyToaster at bay. FullPenetration, long way forward. Dashes away. He's good. CrazyToaster, calm down, son. Calm down. You don't need to be this CrazyToaster. Military Sash misses on emotion. Ward control is the contestation at this point, and seems to finally have gone the way for Kspot.
Skeeledon over in the middle lane, just going to clear out these archers and then make his way over into the jungle again to clear out his speed. And taking a look at the builds so far, they're progressing quite nicely. I mean, again, as you mentioned, Rama going for that Soul Eater build, and Hebo actually the interesting character of the game, going for the Bancroft's Talent item, not seen very often nowadays. And Zeus, I believe, is going for the Chronos Pendant.
Well, there you go. Zeus just really needs to cycle through those cooldowns as often as possible. Whereas you look at Mindy, and Mindy's just like, right, I need to be here. I need to be doing damage at all stages. And think about the amplification with his passive as well, like on that Hebois. The lower and lower health he gets, he's just getting amp and amp and amp on that because of the passive every time he casts a spell. Get that bonus power. Here goes the engage, though. They want to fight.
Yeah, and you think about the CD, you think about this, and XenoTronics is actually gonna get blown up. FullPenetration plus Awilix securing that kill. Thor coming down. 3-man Anvil of Dawn. Not sure if that's gonna make much of a difference. Crushing Wave might secure Hebo's escape. Meanwhile, on the backside, the rest of the team is still fighting. Skeeledon finds the kill and is able to turn back around for his team as FullPenetration dangerously low, but he should fall here as the ring bounce was just way too much. CrazyToaster getting a double kill, and that's going to be the Gold Fury started up for risky behavior as Geb is going to just escape and roll his merry way out.
I'm sorry, I love watching blind hooks like that. It's just like, oh, you're trying to catch a Geb there. He's gone. He just flew the heck out of it. Now what were you saying a few minutes ago about Thor and his playmaking potential and his damage potential? Is it 5 points of bonus physical power for every enemy god that he's around? Well, he just landed on top of 3 and spun on their face. What the heck are you going to do?
Try to find a good bit of damage to kill him off or kill off everybody else, but...
Well, they silenced him, but he still just walked around going bop, bop.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Hebo did not land a huge crushing wave onto like a lot of enemy team members. He actually had to use it somewhat of an escape mechanic that time around. So Hebo not able to land his damage is very harmful to free Kspot's chance of winning. That's the whole point of Hebo. You just land the crushing wave, land it onto as many people as possible, and either you kill them, they kill you, but your team should
Blink
still
right
win
lane
after it.
Copebby actually just looking for the ultimate, missed it. Now the Windfire Wheels, the ultimate's gone up, looking for something from CrazyToaster. He's trying to buy some time for some rotations to come through, but just gets the kill straight up on a Copebby and turns it back around. Motion, don't gank the Naja is basically what Toaster's saying. Just don't do it. Just stay the heck away.
Well, now CrazyToaster has that hyper damage from the Jotun's Wrath, so he's hitting a pretty good damage spike in his build, and, you know, this answers the question. It's not a pseudo-tanky Naja, it's just a full-out assassin Naja. Tier 1 tower going down over in the soul side, and they're going to go for a tier 2 as well, seeing both Hebo and Geb over in the middle lane. I'm not sure if they actually had vision on them just yet, but Xbalanque still split pushing over the left lane as well. Rama going over to these back harpies is going to ensure that if Xbalanque makes a good read here, he can get some damage off into the tower, but it decides to take the safer approach and just go ahead back and spend some gold.
Yeah, he's just like, I just need items online. Give me items, please. Give me items. Alright. So, going back to FullPenetration, I did make a call earlier. They'd probably be going through Executioner straight into Hasten Fatalis. potentially against a double assassin, opting for a different call. This also works, and it's also, again, it's because look at the composition he's up against. He needs to outbox FaymousHate. Yeah, so that makes sense. He also needs to deal with the damage, the crazy amounts of damage coming from Skeeledon and CrazyToaster. So, it just makes sense. Gives him a lot of penetration very, very early on as well, and it's cheap, gives him attack speed. It's just a good all-round option. So at the moment, he's just like, all right, I need items online. So that's the reason he's gone for that build path.
The funny story to me is even after I just said that Najah was going like hyper damage, Najah right after I say that mail renewal. Okay, all right, CrazyToaster, I see how.
Yeah, but now he's capped on CDR, man.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Who really wants more damage when you can have more cooldowns?
When you can just ring over and over again, just tossing rings everywhere. I mean, yeah, that's definitely the route to go. But Awilix feeling the pain of CrazyToaster, and if that ultimate had hit, that would definitely be a very dead. Dead CrazyToaster. But that mail renewal paying itself in dividends is now. It doesn't look like CrazyToaster is actually going to be killed off. He's just going to heal up. FaymousHate able to find the kill on the mini rocks, and it's just turning right back around on a free Kspot. Rama trying to find the shots on the XenoTronics, not able to do so. And so now 5-man strong, CrazyToaster and members are going to be able to push down this tier 1 tower over in the middle lane. Thor landing the double tap on Awilix, finding another kill on the side.
What's that about a moped, man? You're going downtown? Oh, that's what Thor was doing right there. But look at Toaster in trouble. Motion just says, I am a man in motion. The spin to win. Really trying to do what he can. Full penetration in trouble, and FaymousHate with a double for him. All of that power starting to be thrust in his general direction. Look at that. Suddenly up to 3-1-6. Before that, Rum's actually doing quite well. He was 2-1-1. Was doing okay. Then just comes in the side of this fight. His team's just so far behind. Whoa.
I'm actually really nervous for free Kspot because Risky Behavior has such a high damage team composition. It's hard for them to actually outlast it, but they've been wanting to outdamage it, and so far they're not doing necessarily the best at it. Najah having that mail renewal gave them just enough time and just enough tankiness to actually be able to continue fighting for longer and longer periods of time. The assists are just bringing in more health from the passive, and then Thor even has quite a bit of tankiness too with the Hide of Urchin. So these assassins are picking up some tankier items because they already have just so much damage in their kit, and they just need to give a little bit more time to their real hyper damage carries like Xbalanque and Zeus, that it's making it difficult for free Kspot to actually respond.
Yeah, and it's just smart purchasing as well. It's like, okay, if we keep going damage, we're going to kill them a little bit faster. What's our main problem at this point? It's dying. Because Mindy Rocks is going to get to that point where he's doing a lot of damage on the headboard. Have a look over at the side of FullPenetration as well. He's starting to get there on this Ram as well. So, if they steal away a Gold Fury, perhaps, on the side of free Kspot, all of a sudden it's just like, well, we're back. Rather level. And now what do we do? Yeah, sure, we're at this point in time, we're 8k ahead, but it's kind of like, well, if we lose that one fight, things swing so hard back to our opponents just with their base scalings on all these gods. We can't risk it, so let's not give up any kills.
So, 2 people rotating over to the soul lane, but Gold Fury are going to be started in the dual lane side, and there's the yoink onto Geb, as they're just going to blow him up. Cataclysm comes out, but not going to make much of a difference, as now Gold Fury should go over to the guys on Risky Behavior. They're going to leash it off, realizing that it's a bit too risky to just go for it all out, and Mindy's going to be forced to use the Crushing Wave just to get out, not able to actually use his damage for the team, and CrazyToaster over on the other side, able to actually get a 1v2 kill onto Awilix, and might get even more.
He's not done.
Just not able to deal with this penetration and damage. And oh my goodness, that's a 1v2 in favor of CrazyToaster, who is still chasing him down. And Thor's gonna kind of mess up the 1v2 factor. But all the same, they get the kill. They got the tower, and they're about to get the Fire Giant as well. Surrender vote. They might just go ahead and get this game as free Kspot not feeling like they can win this one.
Ouch. Ow. You know what probably won CrazyToaster that 1v2 and stopped him dying immediately afterwards? It's the mail renewal. Yeah, that just happened.
Mail renewal kind of does a pretty good job at that, but
did they even get a kill? Did they kill anyone? They didn't even get a kill. That's a 5-0 fight. Signed, sealed, and delivered. Send these guys to game number 3.
Well,
Fire Giant. Dude, they just got Fire Giant. They just 5-0'd Risky Behavior in 2 split fights, one of which was a 2v1.
Keep in mind, though, I mean, one dream crushing wave can completely swing this whole game around. You have to keep that in mind. Like, even though free Kspot has just been getting bodied in certain instances, they still have, I mean, hey, you know, a couple times, yeah, they still have a decent win condition. Get the dream crushing wave, use all of your hyper damage AD carries to just push down objectives and win. If you can just get the dream crushing wave, even if Hebo dies, even if Hebo doesn't live past that moment, you've already set yourself up for a win in that team fight just because of how much damage Hebo does innately. And you take a look at his build, he has a Shoes of Focus, he has a Bancross Talon, and now he's working on Spirit of the Magus. If he completes that Spirit of the Magus, you're talking about a huge burst of damage. And Hebo's crushing wave right now is already, you know, getting to the point where it's doing 530 plus some magical scaling. But it doesn't look like they're going to make it to that point, as Skeeledon is going to find the kill on Awilix, and Mindy Rocks is going to die before he's even able to think about his ultimate. Motion not going to last much longer.
He's trying. He's run away, but it's apparently not fast enough. And look at FullPenetration. He's just like, I just don't have enough penetration. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. The Zeus ultimate! Look at that. Last kill. The Zeus ultimate is saved for the last kill of a fight.
Hey, you know, why not? You might as well.
No. That's what I'm saying. Is just like that. When you don't ever have to burn Zeus's combo to get kills, that's when you know you're so brutally in front that you can screw over a couple times and kind of not do anything. Mindy Rocks, you were talking about Crushing Wave. Guess what? That spell's still on cooldown. Still off cooldown. He never used it that last fight. He was CC'd so hard, his beads went back up. He's just like, oh. Yeah, this is a nice game.
Yeah, so not really a whole lot to talk about for free Kspot versus Risky Behavior game 2. There was a lot of good play in the early stages of the game. Free Kspot showed a lot of good signs of being able to actually box out with Risky Behavior in certain instances. Hebo actually started off the game with a kill on his person and did just fine. They got a kill on the Skeeledon, took off his red pot, but again, Thor's just comeback potentially in so many of these fights just made such a huge impact and made it difficult for free Kspot to actually find their win condition. That, toppled with the fact that they never actually got the dream crushing wave, it was always used defensively, was really problematic. But what I want to take a good moment to look at is the highest player damage in the game actually belongs to CrazyToaster at 20k. Zeus extremely far behind that, actually behind Xbalanque and Thor at 13.5. I'm still part of the Zeus hype train, but that was a small choo-choo.
Okay. So the reason for that one being the small choo-choo that thinks he can, is because XenoTronics is like, well, I don't ever have to walk forward. I'm never actually in a risk, so I'm never gonna have to dump my damage spells. Did he ever really dump his damage spells? Kinda not. A couple of times he got rotated on a little bit hard, but CrazyToaster is just like, dude, I'm fed. Just keep bringing them this way. Just keep bringing them this way. And just keep feeding the Wind Fire Wills hype train, because, you know, that train's actually got wheels. It's not just running on Cloud Lightning.
Oh, okay.
Dude, it's fair.
You ever heard of a steam train?
Where is there lightning in a steam train? Enlighten me here.
Yeah, whatever. But CrazyToaster had a pretty good performance. You know, I started off the game saying that I didn't know how practiced he was with the laning Xia, but at the very least, he is a very practiced Xia. He kept consistently fighting motion, even though most players would kind of give up on that aspect because they're just like, all right, Chaac's got Mystical Mail, I'm not winning these fights. CrazyToaster on Xia said, screw that, I'm going to keep boxing you and I'm going to win. And eventually, yeah, he did. He won out 2v1s. He set up his team quite nicely. And I think that free Kspot right now desperately needs to do something in his third game, or they're just going to lose the series.
Yeah, and have a look at Mindy's God Pool from the last 2 games as well. It's been Hebois and Hell. I've seen nothing with any early game potential so far. So, what does that tell you? They're used to losing mid camps. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. You shouldn't. at this sort of level, if you're just going, all right, we're gonna give up mid camps every game, you're not gonna make SPL. SPL teams are gonna come down. They're gonna go, right, we're gonna contest every mid camp. We're gonna play slightly aggressive gods, and we're gonna win the middle of the map, and then we can split it to both sides really easily. That's how gold distribution works. The easiest lane to win and then snowball your team off is mid, and kind of not lane, but jungle. Why? Spread that gold across, because you're constantly moving around the map. That's why Giannis is so highly prioritized, is because if you get ahead, look, you can just dump that in another lane. Just straight away, you can dump as many people in that lane that get fed as you really want, and there's nothing that they can do about it, right? So Mindy needs to stop that happening from the mid lane. Go Agni? Go Poseidon. And just give yourself some potential to make plays. Don't just commit to this backside. Sure, your late game mechanics and whatnot may be absolutely phenomenal, but if you're forfeiting 3 out of the first 4 sets of mid camps to Zeus, and Zeus solo gets 2 of them, what hope have you got? What hope have you got? Because you're already putting yourself so far behind that you're already saying, hey, we're going to push our late game back another few minutes, right? That's just, you can't do that. You just can't do that in this sort of level and make it to that top flight. So I think that's got to change.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get it set up for what could be the final match of this series if Risky Behavior plays as well as they've been playing so far. Free Kspot, I think, has a lot of opportunity to swing back and 3-0 their opponents, but it definitely starts off with maybe getting a more confident and early game mage in the middle lane, and, Isis, Agni, all great picks as you mentioned. So hopefully we see Free Kspot take it to a game 4, potentially 5. But we'll be back to see if they can do that in just a moment. You guys stay tuned.